morning, everyone. Good morning, Unity family. It is Palm Sunday, so everyone show me your palms. High fives all the way around for Palm Sunday. And Carolyn, do you want to share with them what we're about to do?
I am totally honored to share, what's to come is the best, which is the oratorio that Desire wrote. Yes.
Highlights.
But we would love for you to sing with us a little bit at the beginning here. It's a song that you probably know in this very room, but don't get too attached to the arrangement because it's gonna surprise you a little bit.
Surprise for you. All right.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me.
And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me.
And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom.
For spirit, sweet spirit, is
In this very room, and in this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all of us. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For spirit, sweet spirit, is in this very room. And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For spirit, sweet spirit, is in this very room. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For spirit, sweet spirit, is in this very room.
Good morning, everybody. In case you haven't noticed, we put the furniture back, but we changed everything else. The order of service this morning will be different, so fasten your seatbelts and grab your helmets and join us, because it is an amazing, amazing moment. I'm the Reverend Medora Gordon. This is Unity in Marin. Whoever we are, wherever we are from, whatever our size or shape or color or journey, all of us are welcome in this place. As we come together in the quiet, let us be grateful for all that we are, grateful for one another, all that we have, and most especially grateful for the joy. And in the spirit of it being a different morning, would you all please rise and join me in our statement of truth?
There is only one power, only one presence, active in all my life and in the universe. God the good in all, through all, and over all. There is only one power, one holy power, only one presence in all my life and in the universe. And it's God in all, through all, and over all. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
We got angels in the house.
Welcome. I'm Reverend Tim Lytle, Senior Minister here at Unity in Marin. It's such a joy to see all of you. And anyone know what next Sunday is? Easter! You got it. This is Palm Sunday, and then Good Friday. We'll have a service, special service at 7 o'clock. So I'd love to see you Friday, and then Easter Sunday. And I'll have a special message entitled Shift Happens, because we're all in the stage of transformation. We're all in the stage of shifting. And so we're transforming into that Christ presence that we already are. It is so good to see all of you. And if this is your first time here, or first time in a long time, you may wonder, well, am I first time in a long time? Have some things changed since you were last here? Have people come up to you and say, oh, do you attend here? Maybe it's been first time in a long time. So, if it's first time in a long time or first time, would you please raise your hand? We're going to bring a gift to you right here, Gloria. And right here, and there's some blue sheets. Oh, now we're outing each other. People are pointing. Good. Out those next to you. If you don't know them, start pointing to them. And there's a blue sheet where we would love to have your connection information so that we can connect on an ongoing basis, so that we can connect you to all the wonderful activities, classes, things that go on here. Out here in the courtyard, in the hub, there is a table. Maddie is sitting at that table, and she would love for you to turn these in. We have a little souvenir, something to remind you of Unity in Marin, and so you can get that when you turn in your sheet, because we want to connect with you. And if I have not met you personally yet, I definitely want to meet you and learn to get to know you. We also have some wonderful love streamers who are watching us from all over the world. They're watching us in Bangkok, in Australia, New Zealand, Denmark, Hawaii, across the United States. And so we have some wonderful love streamers. Let's wave at our love streamers. Thank you for joining us today. And we know that God is fully and completely present there as here. So there's no separation between us. We are one family. and we know the highest and best for your life. Thank you for joining us. Let's give them some love. Oh, yeah. Reverend Medora started shaking her palm branch at me. We have palms for those who don't have them yet. This is Palm Sunday, so our ushers will come forward and hand those out. This whole service is about rising up into our Christ self, rising up into new power. And so we'll have these branches. And in fact, I would recommend that perhaps on the last song, start waving those palm branches, okay? And so we're bringing those palm branches to you. This is a very special Sunday as we commemorate Jesus riding in on the colt of a donkey, riding in humility, and people were waving palms and laying out their garments for him to ride in on. So we're celebrating that together. Do you have your palm branches? Okay, we have more. We have more. And those of you who are love streaming, if you're in Hawaii, just go out and pick one. So, because they're all over. All right. So good to have all of you here. Thank you. We love you. We're here to serve. We're here to connect. We're here to grow. Thank you for being with us.
Riding in on humility, trying desperately to reach your soul. Gliding by on an inspiration, breathing sweet and holy. What will it take to open up your heart? What will it take to make a way for love? Gentle messenger sings the words yearning to be heard. It's an ancient story, yet the moments fly by and we live and we die without the glory. What will it take to open up your heart? What will it take to make a way for love? Now is the time, the expected time to claim salvation. Shout it from mountain high, let it light the darkest nation. 'Cause if not now, then when freedom comes again and again and again and again and again. Again and 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 again and
again and again and again.
Again and again and again and again. You've heard it a million times in verse and rhymes and quiet wonder. You've seen it in lovers' eyes, through tears, through lies, through anger's thunder. What will it take to open up your heart? What will it take to make a way for love? again and again and again and again and
again and again and again and again and
again and again and again and again
again and again and again and again and again and
again and again and again and again and again.
Wow. Where's the year gone? It seemed like it was just Christmas. And here it is, it's Palm Sunday. I don't know about you, I just got the decorations down. Now I gotta go look for the Easter eggs and the bunnies and all that. But this is Palm Sunday, and legend tells us that Jesus rode into Jerusalem on this day through a cheering crowd on the back of a donkey. You remember the picture, waving palms and people casting their garments on the road. The oldest known Gospels don't identify palms. They put down branches of some kind, and people thought, well, it was, after all, the Middle East, it was Palestine, must be palm trees, because that's all they had, they thought. But it was a common custom honoring someone of great honor, of great importance. And Jesus riding in on a donkey symbolized a leader coming in peace, as opposed to a warrior on a white horse waving a sword, coming in war, coming in peace. We really don't know the details of all of this. It was 2,000 plus years ago. But it certainly adds great symbolism to the story. Now, as most of you know, every person, place, story, thing, and event in the Bible, in the world of metaphysics, is looked on as some piece of our own personal journey of what we're doing here. And so the Palm Sunday experience represents our conscious surrender to our own innate divinity. It's meant to reawaken that childlike faith and stir up in us the suspicion that something amazing is going on. We aren't quite sure what at this point, but something is cooking in all of us. Well, and it sounds easy enough. I mean, after all, it's festive, it's joyous, it's surrendering to our own divinity, believing as a child might. I mean, what's not to like, right? And so we walk right in. And as the week progresses, we discover, oh no, it's the dreaded C word. Change. Only this time, it's not the change going on around us. You know, we've been talking for weeks about the changes here in the new leadership, and we've changed the furniture, and it's all been out there. This time, this week, change is within all of us. We're asked to adjust to the change within, and frankly, we're in for a very challenging week. For you see, the purpose of Holy Week is that we have to work it. During this week, we have the story of Jesus driving the money changers out of the temple, symbolizing cleansing our own bodies, minds, and souls of error thinking, those old habits and those old intentions and that old stuff that doesn't serve us, driving it out. And then we have the Last Supper, symbolizing that we accept our deepest spiritual selves as the truth of our being. The truth of our being, without all the other stuff. And once we begin to sort of creep up on maybe that's true, we find ourselves in Gethsemane where we're struggling with our own consciousness. We discover that all the old stuff is gone, and we're beginning to realize the truth of who we are. But those deeply rooted error thoughts, that stuff we've had since we grew up, everything that we've known for forever, doesn't give up easy. So by Friday, by Good Friday, we're moving on towards crossing out for once and for all the stuff that doesn't serve us. And we are asked to get rid of those beliefs that truly have been with us forever. Goodbye. It's gone, it's over, it's done. Jesus comes to us and says, let not your heart be troubled. Oh yeah, easy for you to say. And the next thing you know, we find ourselves in the aftermath of the crucifixion on Good Friday.
And Jesus, knowing these thoughts, and seeing the inevitability of the fulfillment of Scripture,
Let not your heart be troubled, neither be thou dismayed. I go unto my Father, yet the Spirit of truth abides forever. Let not your heart be troubled, neither be thou dismayed. Though with your eyes ye may not see me, look to your heart, for there you'll find me. I will not leave you comfortless. You need not be afraid. Let not your heart be troubled, neither be thou dismayed.
let not your heart be troubled, neither be thou dismayed.
As we move on through our week, we discover that there is deep work at play here. Deep work in the entire experience of Holy Week, and it's personal. Mary Magdalene is the first to the tomb after the resurrection, and metaphysically, she represents the strength of our consciousness. The strength of that consciousness that never leaves us. And at first, we are devastated by all that we have given up, by all that we have lost, by all of the change. But somehow we keep walking, and we remember that our innate divinity, that amazing power of the universe that is us, is always present, no matter what else is going on. Oh, we have teachings and books and people to guide us on the way to help us remember, but the most important part are our prayers and our meditation. It's our internal communication system. It's how we talk to ourselves that guides us to remember. To remember that we are all one with all that is Jesus. Jesus, our Christ nature. And that never leaves us. Everything else may go, but that never leaves us. And we may find ourselves alone, feeling bereft, but it is us who turns away. It's not the other way around. There is a long poetic gospel poem written by a woman named Marie Howe, and I want to read you a little part of it. Who would follow that young woman down the narrow hallway? Who would call her name until she turns? Who indeed? We all know that hallway. We all long for that loving voice. The weeping Magdalene heard it by the garden tomb. Mary, he said. When she turned to respond, she rose from the dead. Whoever he was and is, the teacher knows your hunger, your desire. But the finding you seek always means losing as well. Desire is the prelude to surrender. So I thought I had to become more than I was, more than I'd been, but that wasn't it. It seemed rather that something had to go. Something had to be let go of. No cheap grace here. As Magdalene sums up the message, how many times did he say it? Change doesn't hurt, he'd say, as much as resistance to it does. You know, as a kid, I always wondered about that rock. You know, the stone in front of the tomb. There was this story about Jesus being resurrected, and there were soldiers, and there was an angel, and I thought, I wonder how they did that. You think everybody kind of got together and gave it a, you know, or maybe they pushed it, you know. I couldn't figure it out, and I couldn't understand really understand what that was all about. And as the more I got to thinking about it, it didn't get any better. And as the women went towards the sepulchre in the twilight of the morning, desirous to embalm the body of Jesus, they recollected that the huge stone at the door of the tomb would be a great impediment. And they said to one another, "Who shall roll away the stone?" That question gathers up the mournful inquiry of the whole universe. The women seem to have put into language the great sigh of universal humanity. Who, indeed, shall roll away the stone? You know, sometimes there is a huge rock in our path. It just is. A rock which completely blocks the road. And who among the mighty shall remove the barrier? In our ascent to joy, the stones of doubt, uncertainty, unbelief, they stop all progress. Who will bring life and immortality to light? The answer is, we do. You know, one philosopher suggested that the purpose of the angel and the soldiers rolling away the stone was to prove that the sepulchre was already empty, that Jesus, and if we want to call it our innate divinity, was already there, already gone, already resurrected, and that you didn't need anybody to do it. It was to prove that it was all done already. We don't need anyone to come do it for us. But the real question gets to be, how do we do it? And the answer there is easy too. It's easy to remember, but it's hard to do when you're in the trenches. We only need faith. Faith the size of a mustard seed. The Bible tells us that faith the size of a mustard seed, you can tell that mountain to move from here to there, and it'll do it. Faith. And when we look up in faith and we see what is truly amazing, that big stone becomes a pebble. Darkness becomes daylight. There is a huge opening, and if we listen, we hear that divine whisper of spirit saying, "Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid." Our innate divinity, all that we are, all that we ever hope to be, has already rolled away the stone.
And Mary was first to the sepulchre. She brought fragrant spices and oil with her, much like the oil she used on Jesus when first the two did meet, as with humility and sorrow she bathed the Master's feet. And Mary, his mother, came with her there. The grief in her heart was beyond compare. They came to pay them
spices to anoint him as he lay. But when they arrived, they discovered that the stone was rolled away. Rolled away.
He was nowhere to be found.
Rolled away.
Only the linens in which he had been bound.
Where have you taken him? How could you
Rolled away.
Pilate had given the word
Rolled away.
that Jesus' tomb would be guarded and secure, and yet the stone was rolled away.
alone in the garden? Poor Mary wept. Nothing could comfort her now except a single moment more with Jesus, to feel the grace of his loving light. She prayed that this was just a dream, soon to be over with the night.
Woman, why weepest thou?
Who is speaking? I don't recognize you.
Woman, why weepest thou?
You the gardener, don't you know that they have taken away my Lord? And I know not where they have laid him.
Woman, why weepest thou? Woman, why weepest thou?
Are you who I think you
Rolled away.
I have a reason so the world may see.
Rolled away.
The Lord has given us the gift of eternity. Oh, death, where is thy sting? Oh, grave, where is thy victory?
Rolled away.
The Lord has heard our prayer
Rolled away.
and given unto us the shining truth to share. God's love has rolled the stone away. God's love has rolled.
God's love has rolled the stone away.
God's love has rolled.
God's love has rolled the stone away. God's love has rolled away. 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 Roll
And so we come to the transformation of Easter. We've had quite a week. We started out at a joyous procession into Jerusalem. Jerusalem, our abiding consciousness of inner peace, only to discover that it isn't as easy as it looks. We had to clean out all the old stuff, find some way to accept the truth of our being. And even though that error thinking put up quite a fight, we had to keep on walking. We've crossed out those things that no longer serve us, only to discover that we need to fill the empty space with faith. Faith in all that we are, faith in all that we can be. And that brings us to Easter morning and the light. Metaphysically, the light is a symbol of wisdom. An inner light is the illumination of our spirit, the illumination that is at the very center of our being. Easter isn't Easter without the light. Back in the old days when I was an Episcopalian, we did a lot of stuff around the great vigil of Easter. And it was Saturday night, started at about 10 o'clock, crossed over into midnight, was over by about 1:30, and we'd all go out to breakfast, and that was it. There are churches in the city that do no Easter morning at all. You either go to the great vigil and you see the whole story, or too bad for you, go someplace else. It starts in the darkness, and it talks about all of the things that we've done in this week, and it's all lit by candles. And then we get to midnight, and it crosses over into the light, and the lights come on, and the flowers are glorious, and the choir is singing, and the music, the organ is playing. It's truly wonderful. Easter isn't Easter without the light. We are the light of the world, once in the night, but brought into the light, once dead, but made alive, once in the darkness, but brought into brightness. We are the light of the world, enlightened and illuminated by the light, enlightened and illuminated by the way, the truth, and the life, made the hands and feet of the Most High, made the voice crying out in the wilderness, the emissary, the ambassador. We are the light of the world, a city on a hill, called to shine in the darkness, called to be co-workers with God, called to lay down our lives for others, called to be a bridge where others may cross. We are the light of the world, citizens of heaven, created for good works, created to leave a legacy for all eternity. We are the light of the world. Shine on in the darkness, knowing that a city set on a hill cannot be hidden.
Walk in the light while ye have the light, lest darkness come upon you. Walk
has darkness come upon you.
For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goeth.
Feel free to sing along.
Believe in the light while ye have the light, that ye may be children of light. Believe in the light while ye have the light, that ye may be called the children of light. Believe in the 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 light while ye have the light, that ye may be called the children of light.
Believe in the light while ye have the light, that we may be called the children of light.
Well.
Oh, believe in the light while ye have the light, that ye may be called the children of light. Believe in the light. Believe in the light. Believe in the light. Believe in the light.
Believe in the light while ye have the light, that ye may be called the children of light. Oh, he that believeth on me, believeth not on me, but on him who sent me. And he who seeth me, seeth he that sent me. For I have come alive, a light into this world, that all who believeth on me are the children of light.
Let's pick it up.
Believe in the light.
Oh, you gotta believe.
Believe in the light. Come on, come on. Believe in the light.
Believe in the light.
Believe in the light.
Believe in the light.
Believe in the light. Believe.
While ye have the light,
That ye may be called the children of light.
believe in the light.
Everybody.
While ye have the light,
That ye may be called.
that ye may be children of light.
Believe in the light.
Believe in the light. While ye have the light,
That ye may be called.
That ye may be called the children of light.
believe in the light. Believe in the light. Believe in the light.
You got to
Believe in the light. Oh, yeah.
believe in the light. While ye have
While ye have the light,
got the light,
that ye
may be called the children of light. He that believeth on me, believeth not on me, but on him who sent me.
That's right.
And he who seeth me, seeth he that sent me. Oh, he that sent me.
for he is come a light unto the world.
That
Oh, children of light.
are the light of the world. Shine on in darkness, knowing that a city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Ladies and gentlemen, Major Lift.
Words and lyrics, and an embarrassment of blessings. Desire Goyette. Bogus.
And Ed Bogus.
And Lily.
And
Lily
Lily.
Bogus. Come on.
And Lily, yay!
Joshua Holmes, Deborah Winters,
Carolyn Gauthier,
Carolyn Gauthier.
our fearless director.
Good time for an offering. When I was a kid growing up, very, very small, my dad was a Sunday school teacher. He was also an usher. He would memorize everyone's name in the church. And his Sunday school class had about 200 people, which is larger than most churches. And on Saturday nights, he'd be working on his Sunday school lesson. And I'd come by there, and he'd be relaxed, and he'd really be getting into his Sunday school lesson. And he would have his Bible open, and there would be something laying on his Bible. Sometimes it was closed, and it would be sticking out. And I asked him one Saturday night, well, what is that? He said, well, I need to explain something. My dad was a certified public accountant, and he was a financial advisor to some of the leaders in our state, and very well known. And if I took a shower too long, he would talk to me about the cost of utilities. If I left the door open, are you trying to air condition the outdoors? You know, he was watching every penny. And he would have a ledger for each penny. So, all right, I'm asking him, what is that laying on your Bible? And he said, that's my tithe check. And he had a smile. I'm like, you're giving money to the church? And he was happy about it. He was happy about it because he was giving to a mission. He was giving to something he believed in. He was giving to something that helped benefit him and all of the family spiritually. He was giving out of joy. And it taught me something, so that at age 8, I got my own yearly package of tithing envelopes for offerings and tithes, and I began tithing on a regular basis at 8. Some of you probably started doing that too. Maybe some of you haven't found that joy yet. Hey, it's not too late. Have I got a deal for you? In seats in front of you, there are some faith and action forms if you haven't yet started participating in that, so that you can begin giving on a regular basis. You can do it by putting in your offering. You can do it by setting up automatic electronic transfer. However you want to do it. We want to make you happy. You love streamers. We'd love to have you join us in donating as well, so that you can go to the donate button and contribute as well. I learned that this is something that's joyful. One of the happiest times I've seen with my dad was when he was giving his offering. I thought, wow. He taught me something about putting things in their proper perspective, about where we value things. You know, I realized, oh, wow. So he was giving me a great message. So, as we get our tithes and our offerings ready, I can feel my dad's presence this morning. This is one of the areas where he loved to be generous. He was generous towards individuals, and he loved to be generous with his spiritual community because he believed in its mission. And he didn't want to just contribute to it. He wanted to get involved as a volunteer. He wanted to support the mission. As we take this in our hands, place it over our hearts, repeat after me. I give this offering, in a consciousness of love, a spirit of joy, and knowing my abundance. I give thanks, and so it is. Amen. And our ushers will come forward at this time and receive the morning offering. Thank you.
And as we sing through this offertory, we would like to dedicate this one to our dear beloved Norland Merritt.
Let not your heart be troubled, neither be thou dismayed. I go unto my Father, yet the Spirit of truth abides forever. Let not your heart be troubled, neither be thou dismayed. Though with your eyes ye may not see me, look to your heart, for there you'll find me. I will not leave you comfortless. You need not be afraid. Let not your heart be troubled, neither be thou dismayed.
Let not your heart be troubled, neither be thou dismayed. I go unto my Father, yet the Spirit of truth abides forever.
So as the ushers come forward with the offering, if you would extend your hands to the offering. We bless this offering in the consciousness that it represents infinite substance of which there is never any lack or limitation, circulating the divine abundance of our lives, knowing that we go from here to be the light of the world. We are the light of the world, and we let ourselves shine. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Tim. Thank you, Reverend Medora. Thank you, Major Lift.
Yes.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Lily. Very few announcements today. Good Friday communion service is this Friday evening at 7 o'clock to 8:30. Reverend Tim promises a wonderful evening, and so come out for that. And Easter Sunday, 2 services. They'll both be crowded, so make sure you get here early. And then for the family program during the first service. I'm sorry? Oh, okay. I only have 3 slides today. Here we go. So the children will be in the children's church, and then they will go off for Easter egg hunt. And so bring your children in for that. But that's going to Easter egg hunt's at 10:30. We'd like to thank Anna Everest and Jim Kennedy for their gift, as well as Wendy Miley for her contribution today. Will the Unity Prayer Chaplains please rise? Our beautiful prayer chaplains are available in the sanctuary after the service to hold you in deep and abiding Christ consciousness, so seek them out. Thank you, prayer chaplains. Please rise and let us do the prayer for protection. Surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Thank you. And please hold hands for the peace song.
Rejoice in the light. Amen.